So the Cayman Islands, right? I get a lot of questions. I did a previous video on the best places to incorporate your crypto company, and I get hit with, well, how about the Cayman Islands? How about the Cayman Islands? And there's nothing inherently wrong with the Cayman Islands, but here's the deal on the Cayman Islands. 90% of the hedge funds in the world, significant hedge funds in the world, are domiciled in the Cayman Islands. The primary reason is twofold. One, there's no tax. There's no tax on corporations, partnerships, or individual tax. So these companies can operate, these hedge funds can operate tax-free. It's also big with captive reinsurance companies. They also operate tax-free. You only pay a tax if you are, say, U.S. citizens and you repatriate the money, meaning you earn the money down there, then you bring it back, and then pay tax at the regular rates. But if you keep it down there, you don't pay tax. And so that's obviously one. Number two, it's a stable place. A lot of these offshore jurisdictions aren't very stable. The Cayman Islands is a British protectorate. It's a British territory. It has its own government, but it's very stable. And as a result, it has very significant banking relationships. Every major bank has a branch or has a sister bank in the Cayman Islands, which makes it very safe to keep your money down there. Now, what is it? Depending on how you look at it, the Cayman Islands is FATCA compliant. So what they do is they report to the Cayman Islands government any U.S. accounts which have more than $50,000 in it, and then the Cayman Islands government then reports that back to the IRS, which is good and bad, depending on what degree of anonymity you're concerned with, right? If you don't care, then you don't care. You're going to pay a tax when you bring the money back over anyway. But that is one factor that a lot of people shy away from because of the fact of compliance. So my previous take on places like the Cook Islands, Nevis, Belize, I think what you have is you have non-FATCA compliance, but you also have major banks like in the Cook Islands, which I really espouse as a great place to set up your crypto company. They have large money center banks. They've got Barclays, HSBC, and ANZ Bank, and it's very stable, right? Places like Belize, you may not have like the most significant banking regulations, but it's a fairly stable country. Same with Nevis. They're very small, they're very stable. There's no geopolitical issues that would really interrupt what you're doing. So, at the end of the day, the Cayman Islands is viable. It's certainly stable. There's nothing wrong with it, right? But if you had to sort of rank what you're going to do and think about where the best places are, I stick to my earlier discussion, there are better places. But, you can't deny the fact that nearly every major hedge fund in the world is located there, right? So there inherently is a familiarity from an investor standpoint. There is definitely a degree of security that investors get by using the Cayman Islands, and there's definitely a very robust and clean and very stable financial system. And just from the perspective of being in the United States, you can get to the Cayman Islands in relatively short order. If you had to jump on a plane, you could get there. You'd be there in 4 hours. So it's not that I don't espouse it. It's not that I haven't set up funds there, because I certainly have. I think it's very useful, but I think you have to understand what comes with it, and you have to understand the information sharing agreements, and you also have to understand how the repatriation of profits work, right, with respect to whatever country you're in, because when you bring the profits back, whether it's the UK, US, Canada, you're going to have to pay a tax and in most cases some type of penalty. So my take on the Cayman Islands is obviously it can't be a bad place considering what's already there, right? Considering the amount of money that goes through it, it's certainly a stable and great place to set up a company, and especially a fund or an insurance company. So I wouldn't shy away from it. I would add it to my list of the top 5 offshore places to definitely go ahead and do something in the crypto space with if you were looking for an international business corporation. So feel free to visit me, tracyfern.com, and if you have any questions, love to answer them for you. Thanks.